Y'all live.
Hey.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
Hey. Let's welcome everybody in. First episode, 94 Feet and Beyond. Let everybody introduce themselves.
Nigga, if you don't start rubbing them goddamn jeans, man. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I told you I'm just cussing on the air. I'm sorry. But you can hear it in the headphones.
I got you. Good.
No cussing. I'm sorry.
Hey, y'all, I'm Ice. What she got next? This is 94 Feet and Beyond.
I'm Fire.
And this is Ron. What she got next? I help out a lot, so. And the board, man.
The board man.
The board man.
Hey, you already know this your boy Raven Capone, man. I ain't making no noise today. I'm gonna let them do their thing.
There we go. So, like, let's really just kind of let everybody introduce themselves, let y'all know who everybody is and what they're doing, and definitely let you know off the top, everything we do is really for the kids. A lot of people say it, a lot of people say it and they really don't mean it, but that's what we do. So, hey, we getting callers already. This is what we're here for, though.
All right.
WTMH Radio. Hello? WTMH Radio.
We got a prank caller.
3, 2.
Come on, man. They sabotage. They sabotage.
It still count.
That's exactly what we talk about.
Right.
It's
for the kids.
It's for the kids and they scared. So, yeah, I'm gonna let everybody introduce themselves.
Well, I'll start. And my name is Ice, and I am a mother of 2 girls, coach's wife, a self-appointed backseat coach. About to give me a team. We're gonna start out with the 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds.
4-year-olds.
Yeah, we're gonna start out with the 4-year-olds. Anyhow, been around basketball for 18 years. Been watching my daughter play for 11 years. Before that, watched my husband coach boys. Just been in the basketball world for forever. Wanted to get into this because I wanted to just kind of share some of the experiences that I've seen my kids and other kids go through, maybe get some feedback, and just, talk about a lot of the different things that the girls go through that are really serious about playing basketball. So, we're here to talk. I'm here to share what I know, my knowledge, and, just conversate.
Hey, I'm Fire. Me and Malika have actually been in the game with each other for 8 years together. My daughter's been playing for about 10 years. They started AAU basically together. So we've seen so many things go on together. I've been around the game since I was born. I've never played it competitively, actually, because my family is real competitive and I just wasn't ready for it. But I've been at over 1,000 games, no exaggeration, from boys to girls to co-ed to everything. So I've seen a lot. I've been around a lot. And the goal really for us, we've been talking about this really since the girls were about like 8, because we've seen so many different things happen behind the scenes that people miss. There's so many politics that go behind it you never thought. We also want the girls, because girls basketball sometimes is not given the same limelight that the boys, not that they don't give the same effort and they're not as athletic, but they are just as much, but the boys seem to get more attention. And I feel like the girls give the same energy, and I wish that people would get the same energy back to them. So that's the goal, is to put that out there. We're also here to just, we want to uplift the girls, because there's a lot of backstabbing back and forth. And the whole goal is the thing is there's enough room for success for all of us,
Exactly.
And we want to show that with our girls. We've watched both of our girls, through different experiences. And the goal is to, and we've seen parents, we both had bad experiences and good experiences. And what we're here is to just talk about it. We can all have a conversation on some of your experiences, and we can give some feedback, because we've really been through a lot together and not together. But even not together, we still talked about it together. So we know that everybody needs somebody. So we're here to do that weekly, and call in whenever you're ready.
Yes.
So for those that don't know me, I'm Rico. I push everything behind the scenes pretty much what She Got Next. And when I say it's about the girls and the kids, it really is. I really don't have a dog in any fight. I love for all the kids to just get their recognition, especially the girls. I have 3 daughters. A couple of my daughters play ball. So for me, it's kind of personal too, but it's really just about all the kids in general, because everybody wants the kid to do well. They want them all to get a good education. And with basketball, that's a great opportunity for young ladies to really get an education and still play a sport that they love. So that's basically what I take out of it and why I put so much effort in it. So like I said, when we say it's for the kids, it's for the kids.
Right.
All right. And my name is Ron. And it's basically, I'm here to help out, support, and push the girls' game as well. I don't know, I have nieces that play. My daughter plays. And to me, it's fun. I mean, especially helping out with the She Got Next thing. And pretty much when we, at night, we kind of, when we advertise the girls with the names and the scores and all that stuff, and you see all the people that follows, and then you see the people that respond, you're like, wow, this is kind of cool, man. You can't believe it, how excited these kids get by just seeing their name. And it's not done a lot for the girls as much as it is for the boys. I mean, the boys got their side, which is good, but the girls also need a little more exposure. It's good to see that as well. So I don't have much to say about myself. It's just this is basically about the girls' game for me.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's what we're here for. Talk about the highs, the lows, the friendships, the emotions, the debates, the refs, coaches.
The parents.
Parents.
Because all the parents are so nice, aren't they?
Yes, everybody.
Especially me.
Everybody. Right. Behaves well in the stands. And,
Right.
you know, there's just a lot of things that I feel like, you know, with our girls, me and Fire's daughters are in high school, and they're going through the recruiting experience, and there's just a lot of things that I wish I would have known before my daughter, you know, got into that space. And so there's some things that I can share, some things that, you know, that maybe you can share, that's already been through it, you know. So we want to just talk about it. We want to talk about it. And today, our focus is going to be on transfers, because that's been the highlight, the topic of the day, as I was saying. So yeah, we're going to talk about it.
Because there's kids transferring now from middle school through college. So
Yeah.
Daily.
there's always someone transferring, and we're not saying it's good or bad. The point of this conversation is just to get your feelings on it and what could be good about it and what could be bad about it. So
Right. And your experiences.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk to some people later that has gone through it. We're going to talk to a coach, and we're going to talk to
an
a
athlete.
young lady who actually has experienced transferring from high schools as well as college. So now, if you have any questions, any feedback to give, we here. And the number is 614-781-0754.
We're ready for your calls at any time.
And it also looks like we put a poll out today that was about transfers and to see who benefits more from the transfers. And from what I'm seeing, the poll, it was 54% of the people believe that the transfer benefit more in high school. So if you have any questions, if you know of anybody that transferred from high school, or if you know teams, how did it work? How was it? Did it benefit them? If you transferred to a team, did it benefit you? And college was second with 39%. So let's hear from them. If you have any insight on that, your experience. Like we said, we want to talk about it because it's happening every day. And personally, I seen maybe 5 posts today about young ladies transferring. And what we're seeing too is it's not that a lot of girls are transferring because they're not getting playing time. So at one time, I believe that was the biggest reason that young ladies would transfer. It would be because they're not happy with their minutes. But when you have young ladies that are playing, and I mean, they may be getting nice minutes. So it's not like you only getting
Freshman
that.
of the year.
Yes.
yes.
It's not like you getting that, hey, look down 7 players and the coach grabs you and you get in there for the last 3 minutes, 2 minutes.
30 seconds.
Yeah. So those are the type of things that we want to talk about and see maybe why. What's the insight in that? What's making everyone transfer?
Yeah. So do you have any personal ideas about it? Do you have any thoughts of it? Anyone want to share what they think?
With transfers, though, I think sometimes it's more than just about playing time. It's about the experience, especially in high school. I think high school is an important time, in your life. So if you're in a situation where you're uncomfortable at a time, that's not fair to the child. So if, as a parent myself, I would think about that if I was thinking about transferring my child. So I think that's like a big thing. People always think that, like you said, it's just playing time, but there's so many other things that is incorporated into why people want to transfer. So
Right.
Definitely.
That's what I think. I think too, a lot of times, the word out is people talk about different high schools and different, of schools either recruiting or, you know, they move or they go and they go play because they want to go play, you know, with X, Y, Z. And I think that a lot of times I don't see anything wrong with that. And I feel like if you do more of your research before your kid goes to high school, if they're serious, now there's a difference. If your kid's serious about playing basketball and they want to carry on, they want to, you know, play on the next level, I feel like as a parent, I don't see anything wrong with you, you know, going out and looking at all your options and seeing what's going to be best for your child. You know, people ridicule kids for transferring, for moving from here to there.
Right.
However, I feel like if you look at the programs, see what your child fits best in, and then try to set up for your child to be part of that program, then I think that will cut down a lot on high school transferring from middle school.
Right.
Because you know what you're getting into.
Right.
A lot of times, unfortunately, like when you live in, you know, in the suburbs or what have you, you have to go to that feeder school. You know, in the city, you can lottery into a school, so you have more of an option.
And there are a few teams and schools that are open enrollment,
right?
Suburban schools.
Yeah, there
Like,
are.
I think
Not
Middlesburg
many.
is open enrollment.
Yeah, they
and-
are.
It's not many though.
And I think
Yeah.
it's
Not as many.
And it's selective open enrollment. Some of them.
right.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Right.
So there's other
And like you,
stipulations.
like you spoke on as far as the middle school, like we have middle school parents that's listening or watching. I mean, that's a big move for you because once you step into that high school, you're pretty much automatically there for a year at least. So
Right.
once you move, if it may be certain moves that you may be able to move, but your kid may have to sit.
Yeah,
11
11 games.
So,
11 games.
Yeah, that's something you want to take into consideration. And I think a lot of parents don't really look into that part of it coming from the middle school
Exactly.
side. They just see like, hey, my kid's going to be a freshman next year, so we're just gonna go and play.
Right.
Mhm.
Or they're going to go play with whoever,
Right.
but they don't always know what that entails.
Right.
You know.
And sometimes we only think about the basketball part, but I mean, they do have to go get an education. So,
That's amazing.
and that's another thing
That's
that people,
Keeping up in the class.
yes, people need to think
Yeah.
about that when you, because it's not even necessarily about, you know, what teachers are there, but with the environment, because that affects how they learn in the classroom. You know, I know someone that's transferring based off the fact of the environment, the child is just uncomfortable in that environment, you know,
Right.
so you have to think about that when you have to not think about just basketball, because I mean, I know they want to play on the next level, you know, but
Right.
on that next level, they still need education because you can't even get into the college though if you're not succeeding in the classroom. So
Sure can.
That may be a reason for transferring too.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes people do transfer because of the academic program, maybe, you know, it's not tailored to where they, like when you're coming from middle school, you may not have been prepared.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
it's a different monster, I believe. It's the same with each level, and I think that's part of preparation, which, like you said, can lead to a transfer. So,
Yes.
yeah, as parents, you really have to do homework
Mm-hmm.
and really be diligent about what's going on, because
Mhm.
I don't think, like you said, I don't think the transfer thing is bad all the way around, but I believe that it can help in certain situations, and I'm sure in some situations it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So it's probably no way to tell who's benefiting more, or if it's harmful, or it's helping more.
What's-
Right.
I also too, like people transfer based off of coaches' promises, you know, but you have to also think and do the research behind yourself. Like he's telling you gonna start,
Mhm.
and there's 5 seniors there, and there's some pretty good seniors on there. As a freshman, you got to think about that. Like, are you gonna really start? You know,
Right.
like
Right.
I mean, you know, we all think we're good, but really, how
Right.
good are you know? You
Yeah.
can't guarantee
And it's
that.
a whole different level.
It's a
That's
whole-
what people don't realize.
Yeah,
Making that jump from middle school to high school, you may be good and you may have been the best player on your team
right.
in middle school, but playing against high school, I mean, if you think about it, these are 14-year-olds playing against, could be 18
Grown women, yes.
And I mean, at that point, you know,
Mhm.
just the maturity level, how long they've been playing, how, you know, much strength they have, that's a different, you know,
That's your first growth
it
spurt.
makes a,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
It makes a
Right.
difference. So, yeah.
Or even when you
have to do that.
transfer from high school to high school, you might have been a star on that high school team because there was no one else there, you know. So
Right.
then when you transfer into another school and there's a team full of stars, that can change your playing time too. We've seen that before too. That can change it too. So you have to think about that when you make that transfer,
And speak on what you were saying as far as transferring into that, like the environment, you may not be suited for that environment.
Exactly.
That may be a culture shock. Or
It is.
It may be a confidence shock.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it's a lot you have to deal with.
Yeah, because I talked to a mom recently who's thinking about transferring her child, and we talked about the school, and I said to her, I mean, it's these schools are completely different. I don't want to give the schools names, but the two schools are completely different, and it will be a definite culture shock for your child. Now, you have to think about your child. I know we like to always think that our kid will be fine everywhere, but you have to really take into account your child and what do you think they really can do, And if the school seems to be a little bit more academically challenging and the school that they're at, they're not performing well, you have to think about, well, if you transfer to this school, what are they going to do there? Are they going to be eligible? You didn't put them there and then they have to learn to study. Their study habits have to be completely different. I mean, and I wasn't trying to, turn her away from whatever she was trying to do, but I was just saying, you have to think about that. That's such an important part, because education is the most important part. And then the culture of it, if you're in a school, let's say you're in a school with, there's there's one race there and you come to a school that's not that race anymore, it's a lot of different things that people need to think about when they're transferring their children. So
our culture, we have to be a little more diverse these days.
Exactly.
I think, oh my bad.
No, go ahead.
I think too, with parents, I think we have to know our kid too.
Right.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
And be honest with yourself.
You got to be honest. We got to humble ourselves.
Right.
Because, our kid might not be what we think they are, or they might not be as hungry as we think they are.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And if we go transfer our kid and they not all 100% in,
right.
now we look crazy. We go to this situation, we might think it was going to be
bad and worse.
Yeah. We might go to one situation to a worse situation.
Yeah.
And that's why I think kids transfer again.
Multiple times. Yeah.
So just doing research prior to, and like you said, take a look at yourself and your kid and say, is this for me?
Right.
Or just for my kid? And that's where I think a lot of times parents, sometimes either that have played or had other kids that's played,
just really competitive.
Yes.
Or just have this expectation that is unrealistic.
Right. You doing this.
My baby gonna
you gonna do this.
You gonna do it.
Right. She coming in, she taking all your.
She's taking everybody's spot.
Dominated rec league.
Right. She was the MVP over at Howard.
Right. We got all kinds of wide trophies in my house.
Right.
That's definitely a lot to it. But I mean, as parents, we always want our kids to be the best on the court.
Well, yeah.
That does.
But you gotta know
the humbling part.
Because
that's exactly
the humbling part.
I have two girls. One, she started out playing, and like I said, I was a coach's wife. My husband coached both of my girls the same. Okay, so one just decided she wanted to do some twirls and some flips down there.
I know that.
And pass the ball to the other team, girls on the other team, instead of taking a shot, because she said that the girls on the other team wasn't getting the ball, and she was playing with boys. So, my husband, he just knew, like, you know what, this ain't for her, and it's okay.
Yeah. It's usually and it's funny because sometimes the kid that doesn't want to play may be the best athlete. Right? And you just wonder, like, wow. Basically, you transferred all the way out of the game.
Right.
That's the ultimate transfer.
Exactly.
That
She was
hurt.
like, how
That
you
would
doing
hurt.
that? And then she said, she was like, I ain't playing behind my sister. I'm older. So she said, I know my place. So she was like, I ain't playing.
That would be a tough pill to swallow too.
Right.
You the big sister, and then little sis come up,
and that'd be like, oh, you so and so sister, and she'd be like, no, I'm the oldest.
She's my
sister.
Yeah.
I've seen kids transfer because incoming freshmen are projected to be better than them.
Right.
So I think see,
It's a difficult situation.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a difficult situation. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a difficult situation.
You
It
see
could
it.
be. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. I just know it can affect you differently. And my thing as a parent, though, I wouldn't necessarily not let my child transfer based off of she thinks somebody coming in better. You know,
Right.
this is just my
Yeah,
opinion
right.
on it. I would tell you need to work. You know, that would be
Exactly.
what you need to do.
Work for
But
your spot.
work for your spot.
Right.
Whether it's a freshman or another senior, you know, if you want to
Right.
play, you play. You work what you do,
Right.
what you need to do. But I mean, that's up to the parent's choice. Now, I would say too, though, if you're a senior, you know, or a junior and you need to be seen, you know, and you feel like you're not going to be seen, I can understand the transfer. I can see that though. So, because you can't get a scholarship if nobody sees you play. So,
And transferring too, that involve move. Some places involve moving.
right.
And who wants to move? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
If you got money to move like that,
Right.
especially to two
You might
different
pay for the-
places.
You might pay for the
You
college,
might
right?
go pay for the school or pay for a high-end trainer.
Right.
You know, you better get an
Right.
NBA
Yeah.
trainer or a WNBA trainer to come work with your kid 24/7.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
get you on point to be able to play.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like our show. It's this ain't your mama's podcast. This is fun auntie's podcast. You gotta have fun.
Right.
You need to
Right.
have fun.
Right.
I mean, that's part of loving the game too. I think maybe that's a part of transferring. If kids, they lose that love of the game.
Yeah, that's true.
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Or people are too. I think kids too. At this time, they don't know how to take criticism too. You know, like they don't know how to be like, okay, yeah, I do need to work on this. If the coach tell you this, they're mad about it instead of taking that criticism and working for it. You know, like, and I think that's a big problem just with the millennium kids. Period. You
That's
know,
what I was gonna say.
They
too.
just-
It's a new breed. It's a
Yeah,
new breed
they
of
don't-
kids
yeah.
where they don't
Kids
play
don't.
outside no more.
Right.
Much.
Exactly.
Exactly.
No
All
pickup ball,
In the
none of
gym,
that.
kids, air conditioning.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's too hot.
It's too
It's too
hot.
hot outside.
Kids, man.
It's too
It's
hot
too
to
hot
play
outside.
outside.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's a different time.
Yeah.
And I think too, the girls that are starting earlier, that are playing
They are.
earlier, they're becoming better as they get older,
Yeah.
skill-wise.
Skill wise, yeah,
And so then they have some type of entitlement
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
So, you have to
yeah. Because I think
check
a lot.
all that.
I think a lot of times too, like kids, especially in high school, I shouldn't say especially in high school, I know in high school, and I've seen that where kids think because they're seniors, you know, you're entitled to play,
Right.
but that does not make you entitled. Like that doesn't entitle you any type of minutes, any type of time, you know, like
Exactly.
the thing is, and you know, and then they don't do nothing outside of that practice, the time that the coach see you. If you're not doing nothing outside the time the coach see you, then you don't want this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't want it
Right.
bad enough. You know,
Right.
if the coach is the only time you touch that ball is when the coach tell you to touch that ball, or your mom tell you to touch that ball,
Right.
you don't want it. You know, you don't want it.
Parents, did y'all hear that?
Right.
You don't
If
want
she ain't picking the ball up
it.
during the week
By
on
herself.
her own,
Or at least watching the game.
Right.
Or something.
Right.
yes.
That's the
Yeah.
other thing.
And then you're mad at the coach because she's not getting no playing time. But you got to think about it. Like, did you see your daughter out doing anything during this summer break right now? Like, has she worked on her
Exactly.
game? Has she shot a ball? Has she dribbled it?
Exactly.
Has she even picked it up? You know, I've just seen that. I've seen parents get mad about it. And I'm like, and I know for a fact because you told me your daughter was at home, you know.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
well, my daughter's at training. I done heard you at home watching TV. So
Chilling.
you can't expect
Instagram,
that.
Facebook.
Right. Like,
Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Oh, man.
Just take it
Snapchat.
over.
Yeah, Snapchat.
Right.
Right. Ball
Just
is
take it
like,
over.
If you put as
Right.
many hours in
Yeah,
the
you-
gym as you do making Snapchat videos,
about ball is
Man.
life.
man,
Ball is life.
ball would be like,
Right. Like,
Yeah.
but like with ball is life, then you should be out on the court, not right here
Right.
Snapchatting.
For real.
Or at least have
Yeah.
somebody else videotaping you while you out on the court.
hey,
Like,
make that
Yeah,
the
do
Snapchat.
the Snapchat on the court.
read the court.
That should, be
Like,
the, that should be the new Snapchat link.
yeah,
Everybody pass on a video of what they do.
right.
Yeah.
And I know too, not every parent can afford, travel ball and
Right.
all those different things, but you definitely can hit the park.
The park is always
Wait,
open.
The Y,
The
Wait.
front,
recreation,
The recreation
center,
of the
go
house.
to the rec.
in front of the house is always
Front of the
optional.
house.
The
Yeah.
driveway, greatest
Yes.
place in the world.
Yeah.
Easy
The
access.
garage.
Hey, if you can't afford a trainer, YouTube is good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can pull up YouTube
Yeah.
anytime you want.
Right.
Yeah.
can do any of those drills that they got.
And while you on YouTube,
Yeah.
make sure you tune in to 94 Feet and Beyond,
Right.
Tuesdays,
Exactly.
6 to 8.
Wednesdays,
I'm
not
sorry.
Tuesdays, Wednesdays.
I'm Tuesday. Wednesday. 781-0754-614.
Call in.
Yes.
Call in. If you have any questions,
Yeah.
comments.
Yes.
You like to hear?
Before we get our guest on here, we're supposed to have some sounds.
Yeah.
By Mr. Donovan Lewis. But we're gonna get that together so that that'll play.
We're working on it. It's working on
Yeah.
it. First show.
Yes.
Working through the kinks.
Yeah.
But
Trying to get some local talent heard out there here in the 614.
Right.
So we not just supporting the girls. We got the local music.
Exactly. Yes.
you say it's
because
about the
Ohio
kids.
got ballers
It's about
and
the
they got
kids.
talent.
Oh man, girls basketball is big. It's big here.
It's big.
Yes.
It's really big.
Yes.
She
Yes.
got next.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
We definitely want to make sure we reach out and give a shout out to everybody. So right now, I mean, I'm sure a couple people probably looking and noticing we are missing someone.
Yes.
Yes.
Rachel.
Right,
Right.
shout out.
Rachel.
Oh, it's Storm. Sorry, Storm.
Storm.
Storm. Where you at?
Storm is
Storm. She got caught in the
It was a
storm.
storm.
right.
Right.
She got caught in the storm.
Y'all caught the storm.
Yeah, caught the storm somewhere.
Wishing her the best.
Yeah.
Get an umbrella.
Right. Next time,
She got some-
next time, come prepared. Ready?
She
for the-
definitely
go
got
to-
some good ideas and some information that could have been shared.
Yes, definitely insightful. So shout out to Rach, aka Storm.
Yes.
Mhm.
We definitely look forward to getting some input from her. And,
So we're gonna play a little bit of music.
Little short break. Yeah.
For a short break.
Yep.
And then when we come back, we're gonna have some guests at 7:00. But we're gonna play a little music and we'll come back and talk to you.
We'll be back.
Back.
All right, we back.
Back.
Welcome back.
Back.
So I think we should touch where I think Jim had mentioned, Jim DeBalt, he mentioned something about kids going higher than they should. And that's another thing as far as transfers too.
Mhm.
That's another thing when you say you gotta do your homework, you have to evaluate what the situation is. And if your kid is he D1 or are they D2 or D3? That's one thing we need to look at as parents and as a kid. Everybody should have high goals and hopes, have their dreams, wanting to be a Division I player, or what a P5 is the new term. Everybody want to say P5. Everybody want to be a P5. So that's good to have those dreams and those hopes. But
Right.
when it get crunch time, when it get late,
Right.
and it's coming down, when last year you're a senior and you have not committed, and you only have what, 1 or 2 offers, or maybe just one, and it's a D2. I mean, you might have to go ahead and snatch that D2 up.
It ain't nothing wrong
It
with
is
it.
nothing
because
wrong
It's
with
still
it.
free.
There's nothing
It's
wrong
still
with
free.
it.
There ain't
There's
nothing
nothing
wrong with
D2.
it. And
There's nothing.
But I've heard too, a coach told me too, if you haven't talked to multiple D1 coaches, at that point you should start thinking, if you only got one D1 coach, you may not get playing time, like you have to
Yeah.
think about it. If you
That's what
haven't
she- yeah.
had a conversation, I talked to a coach before, and it's like, if your daughter has not had a conversation, by the end of, let's say your daughter is a sophomore or a junior, by the end of, about the beginning of your junior year, if you have not had a discussion probably yet with a D1 coach, you may want to start looking. I'm not saying I would never want to crush anybody's dreams, but
exactly.
but the thing is, if they haven't even expressed any type of interest yet, you may need to start, opening your mind to what is the other possibilities. And if you can still get a free education, it's still a free education regardless, and you still get to play the game you love. So
Right.
that's the thing that everyone needs to look at, even as parents, because your children sometimes they don't see that, but as parents, they have to think about that.
This is what I want to say about that as well, is unfortunately in girls and women's basketball, I mean, you look at if you're looking at dollars, you're looking at dollar wise on the long term of
Mhm.
playing, as far as you can go overseas or in the
Or
WNBA.
Mhm.
Okay, you look at the dollars compared to the dollars that you look at for men.
Man, no
And
comparison.
There's
no
no comparison.
Yeah.
I seen a post. I think they showed that.
It's not.
See, we have a call.
We got a
got a
caller.
I'll complete that later.
Right.
Caller.
Caller.
Hello.
Thanks for calling in.
94 feet and beyond.
Talk a little bit about competitive balance, how that's going to change in a couple of months for girls basketball in Columbus, up the City League, person and
Hold on, caller. We can't hear you. Can you?
That's state background.
yeah. Hang on.
That's not
Can you
us.
hear me?
Okay. Can you hear?
I heard him. You said talking about the competitive balance that's getting ready to change.
Yeah.
What else was you saying?
I was just hoping that Columbus City League basketball is prepared for it. Because it's going to make competition a lot harder when it comes to tournament time. And hopefully that basketball at the middle school level improves and so the high school coaches get, ready-made products on that high school level. So when you have to face the OCC and those outlying schools, if schools get bumped up to Division I, it's just going to be harder for community schools to advance. So hopefully the coaches are prepared for it, and it's going to be, I don't know if it's a fair challenge, but it's going to be a challenge.
That right there. That's a whole nother show. However,
that definitely
it
affects
definitely,
transfers, right?
It affects everyone.
And
I mean,
because the transfers is part of the cause of the competitive balance
exactly.
change. It's for some of the transfers coming in. Because it affects it affects a couple of the city schools. I know from them having transfers, and the thing is I don't know how I feel about it. What do you think, Malika?
Well, I have mixed emotions about it. And what I heard you say was you hope that the coaches are prepared during tournament time, because what's basically going to happen, for those that are listening that don't know, the competitive balance that's going to take place in the schools is going to raise the divisions for a lot of the schools. And if we're talking about the city mostly, because most of the other schools, Westerville, what I heard was going to Division II. They were going down. I'm not for sure if that's the case, but a lot of the Columbus City schools are actually going to move up in divisions. And what's going to happen is they're going to be playing against other teams that may have more kids that are more competitive. So it's definitely going to affect the tournament. And as far as them getting prepared, I don't know what they would do.
Thanks for that call. We about to take another call too, and we're gonna keep elaborating on it.
Thank you for the call.
Okay. Well, thank you.
We'll be here every Wednesday. Give us a call again.
Caller 94 feet and beyond. We lost that one. Hey, but keep calling in. But that was a good point, because, like you said, the competitive balance probably was brought into effect because of transfer.
Exactly.
I'm almost positive. I think that's why they did that.
Right.
That's a big.
Yeah. That's a big
issue.
It is a big issue.
Transfers. I mean, that's the part of high school transfers.
And then it seems as though more so, just my opinion, when you're coming from outside of the city, you're going into a city school, because to my understanding, the way it was looked at is one student from the suburb that is able to do like the alternative lottery and lottery into a school, they're going to be considered 5 bodies, basically.
But then, and then the thing is with that
listen, parents.
Yeah, it's going to be 5 bodies.
And the thing about that is I know schools that they only lottery, and you only can lottery in anyway, so that effect to that, I don't know how I've talked about that with a coach too. Like, I mean, how does that affect the schools that you only lottery in anyway? So how do we consider what's a transfer and what's not a transfer, or what was just because of education wise, there's a lot of different things that goes into it.
What it is they're saying if it's not your feeder school, if it's not your feeder school, then it's going to count against the school. So basically, example, somebody coming from outside of the city, they move into a city school, they're going to be considered 5 bodies. So that's 5 people.
That's 5 people
added to the school for that one person. If you come from a middle school and you go to a high school that is not your feeder school, then that's going to be 2 or 3. It's 2 or 3. I'm not for sure the number, but it's 2 or 3 bodies basically. So, and how they're doing it is they're doing it off of the roster of this year's roster. So for example, if there's a school that has, like you said, like they all lotteried in, they didn't go to middle school at a specific school that lotteries in, that feeds into that school, then it's going to count, basically against the school.
It'll probably help some schools, and it'll probably hurt some schools.
Right.
Definitely. And they said it was looking like it was going to probably hurt more so the Catholic schools.
Yeah.
Because, for example, Hartley, from what I was reading in This Week Sports was saying that, for example, for football for boys, the Hartley was going up to division. They were moving up a division, but they still had the least amount of kids to choose from than all of the other schools. And then like
all in
track,
Ohio.
yeah, this is in Ohio, yes. In track, they're moving up to Division I. And so even though they don't have as many students to choose from as these other Division I schools do, they still got to compete on a Division I level because it's a school that everybody, they have like the Catholic, the middle, but it's not being counted.
But when we think about it, schools like Hartley and DeSales, they don't really have a home school for middle school.
Right.
So they can really get kids from all over.
Yeah.
So they trying to put something in place that kind of control or
Well, they
competitive
kind of
balance
have
is
a
what you're
middle
saying,
school
right?
that feeds in. Like I believe for Hartley, it's the specific kids. It is a
Catholic school.
It's another Catholic school,
Yeah, it's a middle school, and some of them go.
But as far as a living,
But they said it's going to affect like the Catholic schools mostly, like Reedy and Hartley and some of.
I think a lot of schools like from in the Cincinnati area may be impacted because of those, because they get a lot of top talent and all of these kids go to those type of schools.
Right.
Yeah.
So hey, Cincinnati viewers, listeners, Dayton, Cleveland, call in, let us know what you think about your situation, how it may affect your school around you, and maybe you can give us some of your insight on that.
Yeah, but that all ties in with now as far as what the caller was saying was basically if the coaches are able to prepare or if it's going to be fair. And my opinion is
Okay, what's your opinion?
For the smaller schools, like the Catholic schools or what have you, I feel like it's going to be a disadvantage. So they're going to have to be able to prepare better.
Yeah.
Because you're still working with the same students and you may compete on one level. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see how that unfolds as we go.
I just think it's like OSHA trying to get another control because what it was it last year or the year before last when they tried to move the city schools around too.
Yeah,
but they were trying to drag in charter schools where kids weren't even at the school and they were going to move and they were going to put the numbers in with us to move us up. I'm like, that's not fair to the schools. I just feel like it's a way. This is my opinion, this is just my opinion, but I just feel like it's a way.
That's what it is.
we here having real conversations.
Exactly.
And my real conversation is I feel like it's another way posted trying to control who goes through and who keep moving, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, to stop certain schools from dominating.
Powerhouses.
Or the schools that they consider powerhouses and they're trying to, stop their domination and control that domination. But I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know for sure.
And looking at it on a bigger scale, because when you do that, I feel as though those students don't get the looks from colleges as they should when they're not doing as well.
Right.
Now, unless you play in AAU or travel bar, going to these exposure camps,
right,
and paying money to do those things, which some people can't afford to do that.
Exactly.
So it kind of takes the kids out of there. I mean, you can only do so much, and with the people that you're playing with.
Exactly.
You can be the best person in the nation,
right? And if you don't have
a team, because it takes 5
on
to
a
play
team,
the game,
right? Exactly.
Then it's not going to make a difference. I mean, they'll see, oh yeah, they're good,
right?
But how do they really play?
But that affects your stats. Yeah. Let's say if your child's a point guard, you can't get assists if they're not making the shots. So it just depends on and I'm not saying it for any particular reason, but I'm just saying that it affects your stats and what you're doing.
Hey, that's when you transfer.
Yes.
It's time to go.
It's time to go.
See ya.
I need a better team.
Mom,
And
they
then
can't-
it just
Mom,
gets
they can't
worse.
catch.
They can't. I mean, the thing is though that
The
people.
thing is, some people
it is true.
don't want the transfers after a while. Like y'all making our divisions go up, so
Right.
we ain't taking none of
We don't want no
y'all.
more.
Yeah.
Right.
Stay over there.
I think that's really what may happen too.
Right.
You may
And that's what I think that
But that's what they're trying to do.
prevent.
That's what- that's why I feel like
that's
Well, some-
That's why I feel like OSHA's trying to control it.
I
That's
think
the
some
thing.
people transfer too is because they want to play in a certain division. You know,
Like,
not everybody.
People-
It's-
some do
Yes.
want to play Division One because they feel like it looks better to
Yeah,
say
it looks
I
better.
won this in
They-
Division One instead
Exactly.
of Division 4. You know,
Yeah.
and that's enough.
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, Division 4 or whatever." It ain't.
Right.
But you know, some of those Division 4 teams can beat Division 1 teams.
Exactly.
you
And
know,
they do.
and they do,
A lot.
and they do.
yeah, that is so true.
And that's why, when people say that, I try to always take the focus, is especially in high school. I mean, what that just means when you're playing in a Division I high school is that you just got a whole lot of athletes in your school. That don't mean you got all.
You got a whole lot of
You got
kids. You got a lot
You
of
got a
kids,
whole
not
lot-
necessarily
certain
athletes. You
kind
got a
of
whole lot
You
of
got a
kids.
whole lot of kids.
You got a
in your
whole lot of
school.
kids in your school.
Exactly.
That's what
You're
you
right.
have. You have a whole lot of kids.
Whereas you can have a smaller school and have all the athletes in your school.
right.
And, just because you play in a different division, I can tell you right now, colleges aren't really big
you
on
good.
your high school.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna take
Division.
They don't care about your
It's
division.
what you're
Right.
doing in the game
But the thing that I think about this
and
too
you
is
as a player.
if the kids don't get to go as far in a tournament, then that gives you less exposure. Like you
Yeah.
were saying, some of them don't pay AAU, so the most exposure they get is in that state tournament. And a lot of the
Right.
coaches don't start coming to the state tournament until you get a little bit further, until we get to like the regionals or the districts is when you start seeing college coaches inside of the stands. So that affects it too. I just feel like OSHA, because Ohio already has so much control
Yeah.
that any of the other states, because when you play AAU, you go out
That's
there.
That's a whole nother
That's
show.
a whole nother show
That's a
too.
whole
That's what I
nother-
said too.
That
Exactly.
might
That's
not-
what we talked about.
Yeah.
So we was down in Virginia.
I mean, yeah, I've
We
seen
had
it
this
too.
Virginia team.
Yeah.
They
They all
play
played.
high school together and
Right.
they
Right.
play AAU together.
Right.
One year round.
And of course, so they're gonna have
That'd be
the best
chemistry.
team.
chemistry. Yeah,
Chemistry.
The chemistry all year long.
Exactly.
Will always outdo chemistry 2 months out of the year.
right. And
So-
some of them, if you went far in your tournament, you maybe got 2 weeks of practice before you
Right.
got to hit the road, and now you got to in your team. Like,
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, transfers. That's a big thing.
What about the transfers with the coaches? Is it okay for a coach to transfer or leave a situation and not have to sit out? Even if it's high school, the coach don't have to sit out 11 games. Or
Right.
is that fair?
Right.
Is
Right.
that fair? That's what
I don't-
I'm not mad at kids that want to transfer.
Right.
Because coaches do it.
Right.
I believe so too.
Yeah.
Right, I think it's not fair because a lot of the time the coaches they expect so much out of the kids, and at the OSHA we have so many rules on the kids, but the coaches they can pick up and go wherever they feel like going, whenever they feel like going. Like I'm not getting the kids that I want, so I'm gonna go to a different school so I can try to figure that out. So how come the kids can decide I'm not playing with the right people? I need to go to a different school. They're not giving those same options.
Or they
Not have to
or
sit
they
out
be
there half a season.
sent out.
Or they got sent.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, sent away.
Right. I think that,
So,
that situation. I think that's not fair at all.
and that's one thing that I know, the coach was talking about in that video in the Periscope about her feeling like, if the coaches can transfer, then
So the kids-
students
For
should
finding
at
a
least
job,
have
yeah, that's true.
a one-time transfer
Yeah.
without any penalties.
right. Or
And
being
then let
frowned
them
upon.
play.
Right.
Like let them play.
Yeah.
Right. We
I
have
think
such
so too.
a big conversation about the kids transferring, but we don't make a big deal when a coach transfer. We just feel like, they're doing what's best for them,
Right.
But the thing is the kids are doing what's best for them also when they make that choice to transfer. So
And then these
That's right.
schools, they make money
That's
off
right.
these kids.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And coaches bring you
that's
in
how they
so
get
that
your
they can-
job. They pay some of the school. It goes towards the school.
hmm
You fill those seats. I know it's not like
Right.
the men, but like in some of those
Some of
some
those
colleges, the
yes.
women's
South Carolina, they packed them.
Yeah,
Sell out.
they sell out. Yeah.
There's some other
Okay.
places as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That only come to every sport. And
Right.
So they fill
They
up
support.
them. Yes.
And every coach is coaching to become or to receive a better job.
Yes,
So
Resume builders.
yeah,
exactly.
So, you know, you
Because
may
they
be
all
recruited,
equates to
but
dollars.
then your coach, they say, oh, they moved to another school, got another job, but basically you transferred.
We left, yeah.
So
Yeah,
why should the kids all have to be penalized? I
Mhm.
mean, it's penalized from college all the way down.
And if you look at it, if a coach can, they go recruit these kids, it look worse on a coach because you talk my kid into coming here. Now you leave.
And now you leaving.
Now you leave.
And I've seen and that does happen more.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
I built a relationship with this coach, and I trust this coach. My mom trusts this coach. My dad trusts this coach, and he
Right.
just leave.
Right.
What about me, the
Yeah.
kid? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've
And
seen
then,
it.
yeah,
and it happens
leave.
Yeah, it happens. I mean,
way
that's
more,
part of
Way
it.
more
than
than-
it doesn't.
Mhm.
Unfortunately,
It's not brought up or talked about as much because there's no penalty behind it.
Exactly.
But if it was more
Exactly.
penalties behind it, then more people would talk about, well, this coach had to sit out for half a season.
Right. Because right now it's usually talked of as a good thing. You know, I've read recent stories where somebody transferred and it's such a big deal, a good thing.
Right.
We're
Yes.
celebrating like you're making a come up. And it's like,
Yes.
well, how come these children, when they make the choice, these girls or boys decide they want to transfer, we're looked down like, well, they just,
exactly.
you find the negative part about it. Like, and they're just doing what's best for them too, or their parents have made that choice for them. So
Yeah.
And I'm not saying nothing wrong if a coach want to go
Oh,
get,
no.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that
Oh, no.
the
Definitely.
kid
You
is
gotta
all,
do what's
kids
best.
are
Exactly.
always
Right.
getting the bad,
Yeah, they,
You know,
they're usually the ones that suffer from it.
they suffer from it because
Exactly.
they always talk about how many kids are why he leave and all this,
Mhm.
but the coaches do it too. So
right.
Yeah.
It may be the reason.
Yeah.
Coach may leave and the kid, you get a new coach, you may not be compatible with that coach, or the
And I've
system may
seen that.
change.
Exactly.
I've seen it.
Position.
I've seen it.
And they end up leaving. And
Yeah.
like what I was told is transferring is not as simple and easy.
As you, could you let the viewers and listeners know who you are and some of your situations, but just start off with letting them know who you are.
Okay, well, my name is Miley Hill, and I am a senior co-player at Western Michigan University. I transferred in 2015 from the University of Cincinnati to Western Michigan. So I have another year left, and I have my grad program, my master's program in educational leadership.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Amazing.
Yes.
Good job.
That free education.
That education.
Right.
That
Take
education.
education.
First.
Right.
That's right.
That's the way to get it done. So, what I wanted to start with, Marley, first of all, is because I know that you had transferred in high school, and just wanted to find out what was, what caused you to want to transfer high schools, and what year were you in when you did?
Well, I was in my end of my sophomore year, and I just felt that I wanted to have a better experience, socially, culturally, and on the athletic side of things. Columbus Afrocentric is state known for basketball, and I've known the team personally for a very long time. I just felt like people push me and make me reach my potential on and off the court, and I'm happy I did that because he did exactly those things. And I think it just taught me a lot about myself. I went from a suburban school to the city school. So it was a big transition, but it was really worth it.
Okay.
So that kind of speaks on the part about the culture and going to a new situation.
How did the team, were they receptive to you? Like, how was that?
At Afrocentric, yes, I've known them probably as long as I've known McKinney, since I was in the 6th grade. So it wasn't it wasn't a huge transition at all.
Okay.
I knew all of them. I was really close with them. I'm still close with a lot of them now. We talk, probably text and talk almost every day. So it wasn't transition at all, that aspect. The only big transition was the school culturally, coming from Pickerington to Afrocentric. It was a big change for me.
Okay.
Was it, when you say a big change, was it good, or what was the biggest thing that you felt? You can give a good, bad, and indifferent.
Right.
It was very indifferent. I just saw just the education aspect of things. I saw what I wanted to do in my career. I'm in education, so I definitely want to work in inner city schools, kind of bridge the gap between suburban schools and inner city schools, because it's a huge difference, such as resources and technology wise.
Yes.
It's a really big difference.
Okay.
So at Pickerington, was the coaching? I don't want to just.
This ain't,
Okay, I'm from.
this ain't your mom show.
We're not politically
Just say
correct
it.
here.
You don't have to hold back.
Yeah, we're not politically correct.
All right, so I'm kind of familiar with the Pickerington scene, and when you actually went to school there, the coaching, it seemed like it wasn't stable.
No, I actually wasn't there when the whole
How it is now.
all the coaches in the year. I was the year before that, so my coach was very consistent. He was there for 4 years. He was there for my first 2 years. So I wasn't in the part of where it was very inconsistent with all the hiring and leaving and all of that. I wasn't there for that part.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just
What was the reasoning though? Why did you want to leave Pickerington? Was there?
Just to grow basketball wise and just culturally, socially. I know the real world is very unique. I just feel like I could get the best of both worlds, and I just feel like not undergrad, but high school would have been a perfect moment for me to do those things.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good stuff. So let's move on to college. What was the school that you started at?
University of Cincinnati.
Okay. And what happened there? What made you decide to transfer from Cincinnati to Michigan?
I just felt like in the whole process of finding schools, I let a lot of people influence my decision.
Parents, listen to this.
When I look back now, the University of Cincinnati wasn't really my decision to go there. It was a lot of other people's decisions, even though I made the final decision. So I would tell people that, a lot of people will influence you to do certain things, but at the end of the day, they're not at the workouts, they're not at the they're not at the university. So you have to make a decision solely on you and how you feel about things. So going into Cincinnati, I already had kind of a chip on my shoulder because it wasn't the school I wanted to go to. It was the school that everybody else wanted me to go to.
Okay.
So I didn't go probably with the best mindset.
Okay.
Me and the coach, we always clash heads. We did a assessment test, and me and my coach we got the same exact score. So we were the same person.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Very strong-minded, I'm very strong-minded, and we just clash heads a lot. So that's what.
Okay, so that definitely is important. I just wanted to point out what you said as far as making a decision. You know, a lot of times we as parents, we think that one school is best for our child and we want to send them here because, you know, of the name or whatever it is, instead of allowing the kids to be part of the decision. And then, you know, that can cause a lot of issues in the long run. And so, yeah, I can.
Not always the parent. It could be
The coach.
The coaches.
AAU coaches.
Right.
Coaches.
The high school coaches, everybody. Yes. So when you so the school you wanted to go to, did you get in that school or you just got talked out of going?
Oh, I didn't. Like, I was going to commit, and I just told people who were close to me my decisions. They kind of influenced me to go to University of Cincinnati. So
Was it because they thought Cincinnati was bigger than the school you initially went to?
better, Cincinnati is a big city, and this other school is a very little city.
Okay.
So that's why.
Okay.
What I want to know is how did you actually find what is it, Western Michigan?
Mhm.
So how did that recruiting process go again? Once you figured that you was going to leave, you know, for the viewers or anybody that's looking to transfer, how would they go about wanting to look for another school to go to?
I would first say talk to people who are closest to you, not so they can influence you, just to tell them your situation, your plans. And I would say go to a person that's well respected in the coaching business. I went to my high school coach, Will McKinney, and he told me the steps in order to do what I wanted to do. A lot of times people just transfer and don't have no backup plan. They just want to leave, get the papers, and have no backup plan. And I felt like that I had a backup plan. First, I went to McKinney, and I went to my parents and told them situations, and then we started from there. He told me to get my release papers, so that's very important to do because the college coach will not talk to you unless you have your release papers.
There you go.
Oh, okay. You need release papers.
So that's
Okay.
a process too, is getting your release, right? Okay.
Excuse me?
I said that's a process too, as far as getting a release.
Oh no, it was maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. So they just kind of if you say I want to leave, they just say okay.
Yeah, they basically say okay, ask you why, to make sure nothing, bad was happening to you, like sexual assault, nothing like that.
Okay.
What year were you when you transferred in college?
Sophomore.
You were a sophomore? Okay, the same thing.
Now, did they put any stipulations on your transfer that you can't go to another?
Can't go to another school in your conference. And the coaching staff, the head coach can tell you what school you can't go to.
The head coach can?
Yeah, so she told me I can't go to
So did you have to make a list?
basically she didn't. So the schools that she told me I couldn't go to were Xavier in Northern Kentucky because those are schools that aren't in our conference, but we play them every year.
Rival schools?
Oh, okay.
And I wouldn't go to those schools anyways. But they're 5 minutes away, so I wanted to get out of that area. And anyways, and if she tells you you can't go to a school that you want to, that's outside your conference, you can fight it, and you can fight it through like the athletics department or maybe the NCAA, and they can basically waive what you said or what your coach said.
Okay.
Oh, so there's like an appeal process?
Yes, if you want to go to a school that they cross off the list that's outside your conference.
Okay.
I also read in an article that you transferred because you wanted to play for a man. Was that?
That's another big thing. My whole life, Will McKinney and JB, my whole life I had male coaches. Even at Pickerington Central, I had a male coach. So going to a female coach was very different.
It is different.
I was not used to and not prepared. It's very different to play for a female like day and night.
It's
So I definitely had to grow up and mature in that aspect. I wasn't really ready for it. A lot of my high school teammates, a lot of just female basketball players they've had faced female coaches, and I've never faced a female coach really, so it was different.
So speaking on that, would you say that the female coaches are they harder, or what would you take from the difference in the two coaches?
A lot of female coaches, I wouldn't say harder or easier. I would say that their perspectives are different. So if you come in with a chip on your shoulder, it looks like you were crying all day, they'll hold that against. Not all female coaches, but some that I've experienced with, that they might hold that against you. It's more emotional, and for Mel, it's more just basketball related. Like my coach now, I could like come to practice crying and very frustrated. And he would say, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yes." I would say yes, and he'll say he'll just forget about it and he'll just move on. While a female coach will hold this against you. Let's say if you're having a bad practice, she'd be like, "Is this because your boyfriend, or is this because blah blah blah?"
So they
That's a whole.
So
That's a whole nother show. We can have another show on that.
That's interesting though. I mean, I'm sure a lot of female players are really tuned in on that part.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Like,
something you
I'm
just
gonna
don't really hear a lot.
I'm gonna want my daughter to listen to this.
Yeah, that's something really touched on that we hadn't even thought about as far as transferring because of coaching genders.
Right.
Right. I think that's a whole nother topic where we can really talk about that, because I've seen the difference between a female and a male coach.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So how's your transition been from Cincinnati to Western Michigan?
I think it's been really good because one thing that another reason why transferring was a big option is because my number one goal in college was, our number one focus is education. A lot of coaches do not like that. A lot of their number one goals in school is basketball. So school has always been a big thing for me. So I had a high GPA and had a lot of credit. So I could basically transfer to any school I wanted to because of my GPA and had a lot of credit. That's why I graduated in 3.5 years. That's why I started my master's program.
So good.
Because I had really good GPA and a lot of credit. Like and a lot of coaches don't want you to do this. Or in my personal opinion, if I took like 18 credits a semester just so I can graduate early, just so they can pay for my master's.
Right. That was so smart. That's so smart.
Hope y'all are paying attention.
I hope so. They need to hear this.
Exactly.
They need to hear
Exactly. If you can do it, then do it.
So actually, transferring helped out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because that extra year,
I would still have graduated and got my master's at Cincinnati. But it did help. I can get another master's by getting educational leadership. It's a 2-year program. At Cincinnati, I will only could do a 1-year program that they will be able to pay for. So it's really smooth because my academics have been high. But if your academics aren't high, it's kind of harder because a lot of coaches don't it's like a big flag if your GPA isn't high. When I transferred to Western Michigan, the coaching staff has to go to the athletic director and basically get approved for you to transfer there. And I guess one of the first questions that she asked was, how are her grades? If he would have said, oh, her grades are, like below a 3, 2.5, she would kind of be hesitant in approving it. But since it was way above a 3.0, then she wasn't hesitant.
Okay.
All right.
So that's also something to hear. When you want to transfer, you got to make sure you have done what you needed to do
Right.
in the time that you were there. And yeah. Okay.
So in a transfer, did it affect you when you transferred mentally or emotionally? Did it affect you anyway from the transfer? How did you feel? Were you like scared or worried or?
No, I wouldn't. It didn't affect me at all.
Sound like you exhaled.
Got that strong
You said that strong personality.
It didn't affect me at all because I'm an athletic basketball player. I mean, if anything really affects you emotionally, you would have quit ever since it. So it doesn't really affect me emotionally. Of course, I had my times where I was down or sad, but not really to the point because it wasn't like I was going to go into a situation and get just stepped on because I'm a transfer or get walked over because I'm a transfer. It wasn't like that. So I sat out last season, and this season I got voted as a team captain. So
Okay, I see.
That's some good stuff.
That's positive.
Yeah.
So what about, as far as we talked about the education piece, what about the basketball piece? As far as the competition from that division, from being in Cincinnati to Western Michigan?
It's really different because at Cincinnati, I was a very small pro player. I was going against the UConn and the Rutgers and the Louisville, and they're pro players at 6'5" and 250. I'm like 190 and like 6'2" on good days.
Did you say 6'5"?
6'2" on a good day, she said.
On a good day. So it was different. But I mean, at the end of the day, basketball, you're going to adjust your game so no matter what conference you're playing. So it was easy on that standpoint because I'm a big pro player and now I'm getting double teamed way more than I ever did in my whole entire life. But there's some films that I was getting triple teamed. So it's not a huge difference in a big transition, but you just have to adjust. And that just comes from, you have to make sure that whatever position you go, like, so let's say you're a guard, and you want to be a guard that scores and pushes the ball. You shouldn't go to a school that offense is mainly post and a slow pace transition, like slow pace. Make sure the offense is equipped for your skills.
Right.
Here in West Michigan, 70% of the scoring comes from the post players. So of course, post, and that's what attracted me to wanting to play in this offense.
Right. So you can get
Do your homework, parents.
Yes,
Players.
that's important. Players.
Yes.
Players, do your homework.
Did you watch them play before you decided that you wanted to go there and saw that that's what they were doing?
No, I talked to so many people. My teammate Alexis Park from African
Yes.
she goes to West Michigan, so I talk to her a lot, and she's pretty real. You have to also talk to people who are the word is their bond, so you have to talk to people who you can trust. And I
Right.
They give you a role.
And the assistant coach, the old assistant coach, Rainey Haynes, that just now,
Yeah.
she also was an assistant coach there, and she told me about their offense and how it's post related. So
Okay.
this is it was part transfer.
Okay. So you just did your homework, and that's good to know,
That's
and
good
that's
to know.
good for them to hear, because some people just want to transfer
And not
and not just
No plan.
because of
just
Yeah.
because.
what the
Yeah.
school is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
want to go with their friends, because that's another thing that
Friends.
I had talked to one of the parents, and they had a school that was wanting them, and they was like, well, I don't want to go there. And it was an excellent school. They said they want to go, be at a school with their friend, and that's probably not the
For high school or college, I don't think that's necessarily a good
That's the
choice.
idea.
Because
exactly.
they don't. I've not heard too many colleges give you scholarships with your friends. So.
There's some package deals out there.
Sometimes there are some packages.
I think there are some, but I don't think there's
Not
that's
majority.
It's not a majority that you're going to get.
Depending on who she is.
You may go into, you may lose your scholarship
You
to
might lose
your
yours
friend.
to your friends. That's what I'm
Exactly.
thinking. That's
Right.
what I'm saying.
Like,
There's
we're
some,
going to take you, not her.
not her, right? You're going together.
Go to college with a friend, like there's a big chance that you guys probably won't be friends at the end of your degree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that.
That's a gem.
In high school are not the friends I'm with now.
That is a gem for all you ladies listening.
Yeah.
Right.
Your friends in high school may not be your friends in college,
Exactly. Or y'all can be friends
but you'll
in the
make,
summertime.
Right.
or you may meet some
On
new
the
friends.
weekend.
Right.
Oh, you do. And a lot of
Just
times
going into
those
a different
be.
direction.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, because I even see girls that are serious, go to another high school and leave all their friends,
Right.
and it become a whole new world. But that's because that's their focus.
So speaking on that, Marley, once you left Pickerington to Afrocentric, did your friends change, or did that have any effect on your friendships?
That's a good
No, my best friend at Pickerington is still my best friend today. The
Mhm.
big thing is that she doesn't play sports or basketball.
That makes a difference.
So that was really big of having friends outside that I can lean on for support who don't know a clue about basketball. So
Mhm.
I didn't really have a lot of friends at Pickerington because most of my friends were at Afrocentric.
Okay.
Grew up around Afrocentric, went to open gyms in Afrocentric, so most of
Mhm.
my friends were at Afrocentric.
So it
I
sound
would
like
say mostly I
Basketball.
trained for Pickerington to go to my friends, but it wasn't just because of them. Like that wasn't a big reason at all.
Yeah, that's a big thing too when you go to a school and if you're playing basketball to have people that play
They have
basketball
the
too,
like
that
mind.
like mine because that
Yeah.
changes the play of the game.
And it
too.
makes you, everybody serious about the game.
Yeah.
I gotta get serious, or I gotta go somewhere else.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
well, what 3 things would you leave for
I can
huh?
Okay, I hear you now.
Okay. What 3 things would you leave for students that are considering, well, actually going into college, like their senior year?
You said 3 tips or
Yes, 3 tips.
I forgot about this. I would say going into college, just basketball wise or just in general?
Well, basketball, of course, education has to come, otherwise they can't play. But
I would just say for basketball, just as a basketball player, student athlete, I would just say mentally be prepared because I know a lot of high schools don't prepare you for college.
right.
From the academic side and the athletic side, but luckily I got prepared athletically. Like my hardest workout still from this day, even going from Cincinnati to Western Michigan, and also seeing UConn practice. My head coach in Cincinnati was the assistant coach at UConn for like 20 years, so we always like chilled with him. But I would say be mentally prepared for the work because most people won't be prepared. And like I was saying before, my hardest workouts were still to this day are at Athletic or Athletic in high school. So I would say mentally be prepared because most people can't handle it.
Yeah.
Like coming to my freshman year, I was beating the upperclassmen in drills because I just had really good endurance from Athletic. Even when I'm out of shape, I can still hold up. Number 2, so mentally be prepared. Number 2, I would say what helped me was get somebody in the upperclassmen that you can kind of lean on to because they'll kind of guide you. And that's
Okay.
now kind of really good when a freshman wants to talk to you about things because you just kind of want to help them. Even if they're the same position as me, because the freshman is the same position as me now, and I still want to help her. So mentally focus, get an upperclassmen, and for student athletes, I would say live in the moment, but also prepare for the future, because you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Transfer, you never know if you want to stop playing basketball. You never know anything. So I would say stay in the moment, but prepare for the future, because you never know what's going to happen, and you need to be prepared. That's why I was prepared with my GPA, because you could still graduate with a 2.0. One of my friends now, it's hard for her to get into grad school because she doesn't have above a 3.0.
Right.
So you gotta be prepared. Maybe basketball isn't forever, maybe it is forever, but still I'm gonna have 3.0. So I can get to grad school, I can get to this or that. So those are my 3 things.
Great.
Great.
Well, that's some good stuff.
Definitely.
Good stuff. Anybody else?
Can you give us 2-3 things when choosing a school? What's the 3 things you think they should look at when they're trying to choose a school, choose a college?
I would say 2 things were this is the location. I wanted to be close to home. So now I don't really care. Now I'm 5 hours away. So this is the location. I'll tell you my list then and my list now. So this is the location. I want to have a family atmosphere. And I want to have a school experience. So like University of Cincinnati was really fun. The social life was very fun. So that's very important. That was very important for me. But now I would say location and distance as well. Academics is very important. And the actual basketball program, see, where they play, who they play is close to home, but I'm okay with being far away. Does the program fit my style of play? Or make sure I talk to this kind of goes umbrella of the third one. Make sure I talk to the girls who are there now, because a lot of times the girls are super real. Not around the coaching staff, but the girls are super real.
Right.
And I look at my experience now at the University of Cincinnati on my physical visit, they basically were telling me not to come here. The girls were super real, and you can respect that. But I would say talk to the girls. Make sure that they fit your personality.
Right. Definitely.
All the team does is party. You might not want to go there.
Right. Okay.
Right.
That's sound advice, though.
Yes.
There's a lot of gems. I hope a lot of young ladies was listening, because that's probably gonna happen to maybe 30-40% of the young ladies that's going into school now,
Right.
Right.
the way that it's happening. And at least now you have some sort of picture or a roadmap,
blueprint.
yes,
Mhm.
of how you may want to maneuver. And even before you even have to make that decision as a transfer, they may see this and hear this and know that, okay, well, those are a couple of red flags that I've already seen. So maybe I want to rethink my choices and talk to my parents. And maybe I shouldn't speak to certain people about it and talk to these other people about it.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
that's
Like get them alone, and you know, especially when you're going on those
Visits.
the official visits, unofficial visits. You know, talking to the teammates, away from the
coaches. That was a good. I took that into consideration when you said that, because I know when you talk to the coaches and the team,
Yeah,
everybody talks about how amazing it is.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
So yeah. Okay. Anyone else
Anything else?
got any questions for Ms. Marley?
Any dreams on the W?
So I can't hear you.
He said, "You got any dreams on the W?"
On the what?
Playing
Taking it to the next level.
Oh yeah, professionally overseas, but like I said before, if that doesn't happen, I'm always set for my next career and my next option.
You
Right.
sure are.
I like it.
You
I
sure
like it.
are.
I love it.
Yeah, and I know you said you was getting ready to go out of the country, so
Oh yeah.
where are you heading?
I just got here. I went to. This is another thing that backline for my last year I went to some educational majors.
Mm-hmm.
My bachelor's was in health, and I was switched it to think about my past and what I want to do in my life. Switched to educational leadership so I can be a principal. And last year I went to South Africa and I studied their educational system. This year, next Tuesday, I go to Beijing, China, and study their K-12 educational system. And it's basically all paid for through my scholarship. And
Wow. That's awesome. You hear
That's
that?
great.
So you went to Africa and now you're going to China. Your scholarship is paying for it. That's wonderful. See, it's more than just basketball.
Right.
Right.
It's more
It's
than-
way
it's
more than that.
experiences. It's you know, education, and you know, things that people don't experience ever. So that's great. That's great news.
Definitely, like you said, for the young ladies that's listening, you don't always have to shoot for the WNBA. You can also go overseas and still play and travel, see the world, and do everything you want to do. But if you can't make the WNBA, send me some tickets. Get a body.
Please. What you gonna say, Ron? You look like you got something to say. You got a joke or something?
You trying to get it out.
Put you in the game.
You got an extra tickets from China. That's what I want to go.
You were sweet.
Yeah. Well,
That's good.
we thank you for calling in, and we
Yes.
appreciate all the information. That was wonderful information. And, you know, we wish you great on your endeavors, going out of the country and coming back and, you know, finishing your master's program. That's all great. Basketball really can take you, you know,
Thank you.
places. You're welcome, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, so anything else?
Thank you. That's all I
That's all I
have.
All
have.
right, well, thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling in.
Okay, thank you.
Good
All
luck
right.
too on the rest of your career.
All right, bye-bye.
The caller.
Request line.
Right.
Thanks for calling. 94 and beyond.
Yeah.
Hello, caller.
Hello, caller?
We need that caller. Call back. Call back.
Yes.
We definitely need that call back.
Yeah, call us back. We still open.
Right.
Still 30 more minutes. Give us a call.
I think
Right.
we have another guest that should be calling.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting prepared for that. She should be calling in. I
Yeah, we'll
think
go ahead.
some
We'll
of
take
you-
a short break.
Some of you know her as Coach Yo.
There you go.
There you go.
Maybe that's her. 94 feet and beyond.
Hello, is Coach Yo?
Yes,
Yes. Thanks for calling. Yes. Okay.
She can't hear us.
It's
It's like loud.
loud.
I think we got a gerbil loose.
Got the refrigerator running, man.
That's what it sounds like.
Going through the
Y'all just have to remember this. This ain't your mom show. This your fun auntie show.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear
I
you.
feel bad, but I'm gonna really be focused.
Okay.
You can hear us, Coach?
To repeat yourself.
Some feedback.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I turned it up. Now I feel like, can you say something?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You wrong on that.
Yes.
Old school phones. I didn't want to use the cell because I didn't want to mess up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Call down with the landline. I didn't want to turn it up.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for calling in.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You're one of our special guests on our very first show, and we talking about transfers.
I feel honored.
Well, we feel
honored.
Yes.
We're excited to talk.
Yes, because
I tell it like it is. So.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
That's
exactly what we want.
That's what we need.
We want
need.
Exactly. Right, because we watched your Periscope and a lot of good information.
You really inspired the first show.
Yeah, you know what? People thought I would get pushback from that, but I actually had.
That was going to be one of the questions too. That how many coaching friends did you lose after that?
You know what? Secretly, they're all fans. They probably won't tell their boss, some of them. To be honest with you, a lot of head coaches reached out and told me that they had their staff watching.
Mm-hmm.
So they just
Learn
wanted
something.
they wanted to be in the background.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a hit with recruits, so.
Yes,
Mhm.
I'm sure it was.
I bet
because
it was.
I'm sure a lot of parents can connect with the fact that you were so real. So it does give you a comfort level when you hear a coach speak like that. So you know it's a straight shot that, hey,
And how many kids said,
Transparent. I've lost kids to transfers and all of that. That's not what it was about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was truly about, I'm just really passionate about sharing and growing the game and helping these young women out, man. That's really what I'm about. So
Yes, and that's so helpful.
get kids, it was really just pure, like, let me just tell y'all the truth. I'm done.
how you do
Right.
that's refreshing in these days.
is that how you woke up one day? You just say, I'm going to just talk.
Right. I'm just getting ready to tell everything.
You know what? I kept up there. I didn't go all the way in. I could have.
Right.
I didn't want to be controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to be honest.
Well, for the people that did
I
not,
want this to go, and I'm here.
I was going to say for the people that did not or were unable to listen to your Periscope, you know, we're doing our show on transfers, and we just kind of spoke to a player who transferred actually in high school to another school for a different experience. And then she also transferred in college for some other reasons that, you know, I had never even thought about. And one of them was she wanted to play for a male coach instead of a woman because that's what she was used to. So it was, you know, personality differences. But if you could, you know, if you can run down just the top 5 of some of the things that you talked about as far as transfers.
Right.
Well, I do think that a lot of people don't think about the situation we're in as just a society.
Mhm.
When I say that, I mean, every other day there's something new, there's something fresh coming out.
Right.
Right.
I gave an example about the iPhone. I got an iPhone, then they came out with a red color, now I want the red.
Right.
It does the same thing, but it's something new, it's something fresh, it's something exciting. And I think that the student athlete now is like, this is something new, this is something fresh, this is something exciting. And it's happening so much, it's now become annoying.
Yes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not ashamed to do it. There are a lot of people coming to their defense, these kids. And so they're like, man, this is the end thing.
Right.
This is the end thing. So let me just go ahead and do a new experience. The negative part to that is it's just unfortunate because of the business we're in. Okay?
Mhm.
Mhm.
If you don't like the job, what do? You quit and go get another one.
Right.
Right.
Or a better opportunity comes, you take another one,
Right.
But the way the NCAA has structured this thing, there are some huge consequences for when transfers occur.
Mhm.
And so when you listen to my Periscope, you don't know what side I'm on because really I wasn't picking a side.
Right. It was just facts, laying them out
I've
there.
been on all sides. I've been with cost, my head coach's job. I've been the recipient of it, being at JU. We love transfers.
Right.
I just know it's gonna happen. And so that was one. The second thing was I just think it's just poor judgment by the student athlete and the people that are around them.
Yeah. Yep.
And everyone talks about you gotta look at the coach, how many transfers have they had. I just think sometimes you need to look at the AAU program and see how many transfers they had.
Mhm. Right.
Look at their kids that they brag about, right?
Mhm.
Signing day. My kid's going to such and such. Do some research and see if that kid's still there.
Right.
If a lot of those kids are not there, then to me that means that they just doing it for the t-shirt.
Mhm.
Okay, and I've been a Power 5 coach, and I've gotten kids that I knew I could get because they just wanted the t-shirt. Sad, but it's reality.
Wanted the t-shirt. Right. Right.
T-shirt
I
collection.
want to
Right.
say, I'm going here so everybody can celebrate the 24 right? I'm not thinking about the work I gotta put in. And then I think the third one is parents. I got on parents real hard because I'm a mom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, and I'm expecting another daughter.
Congratulations too.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. She can come early.
I know for that.
Right.
So you're gonna have the ball in the
And as a parent, when in this generation, when kids are growing up, right?
Mhm.
We're involved. We want to be involved. Hey, this is what I think. Blah blah blah. And then when the kid is getting ready to make a decision that will impact them for 4 years, you don't want to be involved.
Right.
So you're telling me you're gonna have me romp with a 17-year-old? That's too easy.
Right. Right.
That's like stealing candy from a baby because I think of this 17.
Exactly. You can tell them anything.
Okay, I can get them to fall in love.
Right.
All
Right.
right.
Especially if their parents ain't around. Right.
Oh, it's on.
So
Water to the well.
Right.
Right.
So don't blame the coach. We got a job to do.
Yes, we do.
So
Yes, we do.
We doing what we got to do.
Yes.
You come out. You don't want to get involved. Jokes on you. That kid probably gonna make the I've never had an experience okay, with the kid that's made a decision on her own that was the right.
Right.
But then as soon as that kid goes to school, they don't get playing time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Go to social media and bash the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Where were
Yeah.
you in the process?
Right.
Right.
The parents, right.
Okay? Because adults are adults. Now I could decipher some things. You know what? I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not thinking about that. Look at this. Right?
Right.
So that's bad. I got on the AAU coach. They mad too. You know that kid can't go to certain school, but they strong arm the college coach.
Right.
There's some bullies out there.
Selling dreams for the next one.
Gotta be tough.
Yeah.
Signing everybody in their camp. At the end of the day. So, you know, that coaches, AAU coaches that are not in it for the right reason, that are
Mhm.
about themselves, not the kids, that always goes wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, that's always bad. And then I talked about, the last one, I talked about, you know, the kids, selfish, man. Like, they don't want to wait.
They don't want to wait.
They don't want to wait, right?
They don't want to wait, and I get that, okay? Because I transferred. I transferred because I was wise enough to know that the environment I was in
Mm-hmm.
was not going to help me be the woman I wanted to be.
Well, and that's good that you
That's
found
why
that out.
I transferred. My mom taught me better, and the stuff I was doing, and it was just, this is not right.
Mm-hmm. That's what the other person said about the
Right.
party
Good.
school.
I came from the Bahamas. I didn't know no better. The first school that offered me a scholarship, I took.
Okay.
That was the wrong decision, right?
Yes.
What's going on with all these kids over here? They on every visit. They got 20 people coming into the house.
Right.
I mean, what else you need to see?
Right.
Guess
Yeah.
what's happening? 4 mid-major schools recruited you. 1 Power 5. You picked the Power 5. Sweetheart, you are a mid-major.
Right. That is true.
Right.
The majority of the schools that are recruiting you are at a certain level. That's the level you're at. And I don't see anything wrong with it.
They never. Right.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Parents, y'all hear that?
Exactly.
You still
If,
get
if she's not a P5 athlete or her heart ain't in it like that,
right.
like Coach said, take the mid-major. Don't force
Go
her
somewhere
to
where
take
they
that
want
one
you.
offer.
Don't
Right.
force it, right.
Right.
That will save you, sweetie. When your baby calls, how about they want to
They want to leave.
They want to leave.
Come
right.
get me.
Come get me.
The biggest transition is from high school to that freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest transition. Everybody thinks they good. I don't care what level you go at. You will struggle.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, what's some good advice to give a senior that's going to be a freshman next year to help with that transition?
My advice would be, well, I hope you made the right decision.
That's the first thing, right? Was that a good choice?
Just know I'll have a scholarship for you.
Okay.
Y'all hear that?
Everybody hear that?
Go look that questionnaire up right now.
Let's go find Jacksonville, everybody.
Sometimes we recruit players like that, knowing we'll get them back in 2 years.
Okay,
Wow.
okay.
Long-term investment.
But anyway, my advice would be just have some grit, endurance, like stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are plenty of players in the pros, men and women, that have to wait their turn, put in some work.
Right.
Right.
You know, those are the same kids that when they get out of college, they feel like they're ready to be a head coach.
Right. That's true.
Right.
Everybody think they're ready to be head coach.
Right.
Yeah. But at
Right.
the time, I put it, listen, my mentors used to tell me, yo, you are not ready. Put in the work. then talk to me about, leading a program.
Yeah. So-
and they just, this generation, it's fun.
Yeah.
So stick with it, man. Give it a try. And if you're gonna say something and whatever, here's the advice. Whatever you said when that coach was in your house, what you was gonna do it.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
Because a lot of kids lying. The coach let them down. Shoot, you let the coach down.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't come in and work hard every day, and
Right.
Right.
and all this stuff. So we both was lying, I guess.
Everybody lying.
But that would be lying.
Okay.
Well, can you talk to us about your plan, the one-time transfer? Because we talked.
I'm an advocate for the one-time transfer rule because for several reasons. One, I don't think we can stop the transfers from happening.
Right. Right.
And two, as a recipient of transfers, it is very hard to keep them focused for a whole year with no basketball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay,
a lot.
and we spend a lot of money to keep them here. And I would just love for them to be able to integrate them and have them play right away.
Yeah.
I've also run into challenges where they can start their masters but not finish it because it's a 2-year program and the NCAA doesn't allow us to pay to complete it, And I think there are situations where head coaches leave and take jobs, and I feel like when that happens, there should be an opportunity for the student athlete to leave. Everybody says they chose the school. No student athlete just goes somewhere for the school unless they go on Princeton, Stanford,
Right. Right.
they going for that coach. Okay, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
To think that a kid is going to go for just school. So if a coach leaves, they should have an opportunity to exercise that. Because me taking over a program, I don't want anybody that doesn't want to be here.
Right. Right.
Right. It's a
and
hard situation.
sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when I cut a kid? No one thinks about what happens when the coach cuts a kid. Oh, coaches can't cut kids. That's a lie. Coaches for 1 year. And if I tell a kid she's never going to play, why would she want to stay?
Right.
Right.
Let that kid go.
That's what a lot of coaches need to tell them.
Right.
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 Yeah. Hey, I've got some kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
Kids don't play right away. I do think there needs to be restrictions. I don't think if a kid is going to transfer up, it should be allowed. Because let's face it, I don't have what Florida has.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But if we play Florida and my kid gives Florida 25, Florida can't come and try to poach my kid.
Right. Right. Right.
Exactly.
If you're going to do that, sit out for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should be able to play right away in conference because coaches can use the player that left a school to hurt in the recruiting process of another kid.
Mm. Yeah.
And,
Do you think it would be fair for? Do you think it would be fair for you to go coach at Florida? I know you talked about the kid. If your kid scored 25 on Florida, you would recommend like a restriction for your kid to go to Florida. But what about a coach, not you, but any coach that want to go to work at Florida?
I think that's different because we get paid. Players don't get paid. Like, this is a job for us. This is not a job for a student athlete. This is an opportunity. for them to get an education for free.
It's still a job, though. I think in a way, though, because
think
they have to work for that. You know, because just like you said, you can cut them.
Yeah, I mean, some things in life you do have to work for, but that doesn't mean it's a job. You know, I just don't. I think it's unfair when people try to compare players' journeys to coaches. You know, I think players are in college to get an education and be provided an opportunity to grow as a person, all that, for free. Now, should they get paid? I mean, we give full cost of attendance. I think that's good enough because everyone's like, well, they can have a job. What job they gonna get with no experience paying buco bucks? None. So this is a grandiose opportunity for them to get a great degree for free, travel all across the world, get thousands and thousands of dollars a year. You know, let's not forget that.
Stifle money.
Eat for free. These kids live so good, man.
But you know, there would be some people
that
that.
get up and run.
But you know there would be some people that disagree with that because they would say some of the kids are bringing in some of the money to these schools. Certain athletes,
Right?
jersey sales.
What? Not women's basketball.
Well, certain schools.
Some schools, I think they do. You know, in certain schools, you do get. There's some things that they use. I mean, the girls though, they had to work to get there. You don't just give them. I mean, a scholarship without them working. And I feel like they do put some work into it. I don't think it's a comparable thing to say between the coaches and the players. I think those are two different entities. You know, but I mean, it's not given to them for free. They have to do something for that. You know.
Absolutely. And that's the commitment and the practice. Stuff like that. Okay?
Right.
I just think football and there are some men's basketball players that the universities are making money on. But let's stop it with women's basketball. Like, that's not true. Like, look at the numbers and look at what programs gain from their women's basketball program. I don't care how successful it is.
I mean, but I don't think that the girls got to be penalized because of the fact that you know what I'm saying. Because I mean, it's kind of we continue to look at them as less of an athlete or like they're putting in less work than any of the boy basketball.
But I just think if we're gonna compare real world stuff, then let's look at the numbers.
Because everything is equating to dollars, and that's unfortunate.
You know what I'm saying? Let's look at the numbers.
Unfortunate.
Women lie, numbers don't.
Exactly. That's my thing. Look, I'm all about equality and stuff like that. When it comes, trust me, I am into women's empowerment, but I don't think that they're getting a raw end of the deal when it comes to college athletics, women's basketball. You know, I think that there is a commitment, there is sacrifice, there is work. But being a former student athlete, what I got out of that free education, I don't know that I can ever repay it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't know the lessons, the mentorship, the opportunities, the trips, you know, the care. Because let me tell you, when you get out of college, and real life hit, Pell Grant ain't coming in.
Right.
And look, now you got to go into Foot Locker and buy the shoe.
Right.
You know, you don't get 4 pairs no more during the year.
Yeah.
Oh, you staying in a nice apartment? So y'all got the air on 60, but now you got to pay rent? Let's see if you keep that air on 60 then. I understand now why my mom used to make me turn off the lights.
Right.
Some of these girls now are leaving early.
Right, and that's why I'm against the sitting out too. Why couldn't Don Staley have 2 years of those kids?
Right.
They graduate. While they're relaxing that 1 year, they're getting their degree.
Okay.
She
Okay.
could have had 2 years. She was only able to have 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I wonder how competitive the game would have been if she could have had 2 years. UConn doesn't win a championship every year because
Right.
now the environment, how the sport has changed.
All right, Coach Trio, we thank you so much. Before you close out, can you give us when the girls are thinking about choosing a college, so that maybe they can have less of a transfer? What would you think was one of the number one things they should look at when they're trying to choose a school?
I don't know that it would help with lessening the transfers, but because a lot of things come into play with that, there's a lot of different reasons why people transfer. But my advice I would give is, be honest with your level, your ability,
Right.
and put people around you that will be honest with you.
Yes.
Be okay with accepting your honesty. That would be my advice. And then don't make a decision for other people.
Right.
Yeah. That's just what
That's
Marley said.
Yeah, right. We just talked to a player who said the same thing.
That's why she transferred.
But she switched.
Looks good, trust me.
Right.
If you you would think my husband's 6'2" and a Puerto Rican. 5'10", he's black. So, sometimes what we want in our minds.
Right.
That ain't what shows up.
It's not what comes out. Yes.
We're happy about it, so.
Yeah.
I think that's important. That would be my advice. But it's a tough job, and I don't judge people that make the move. I just want them to do a better decision when they are
making it. Okay.
Well, Coach Joe, we would definitely like you to come back on some other topics because you actually touched on some other things.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
I love your insights.
Yes.
I appreciate what you guys are doing. I just think this is what the game needs.
Yes.
I'm not picking a side.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's just conversation.
That's the whole goal of the show.
Get some girls,
I'm all for the advancement of people, period.
Right. Well, our focus is on girls, and so that's what we're trying to do. So to put them out there. So we thank you, and we definitely would like to have you back.
Okay, if you have a friend out there now, you know the number.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good
Have a good
evening. Right. Well, this is our first show.
Good
I
job.
think everything went all right.
Yeah, it went well.
Hey, and for the girls that we didn't get to,
I'm sorry.
make sure you call back next Wednesday. We'll be letting everybody know what the next topic will be. And
Rachel's
From 6 to 8.
yes,
6 to 8. Yes, I'm sorry we missed. We seen there was a few calls we missed.
Fire and Nice.
We apologize. We will
Yes.
definitely be here next Wednesday waiting for you.
Nice
Yes.
Beyond. We out.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.